Guys, Bridgerton Season 3 is right around the corner, so why not go over what exactly happened in Season 2? It's been a while since Season 2 dropped on Netflix, so if you don't have the time to re-watch the full 8 episodes, let me give you a small rundown. Kate and Anthony are married, Penelope and Eloise have a major fallout, Colin and Penelope still haven't found their way together, Lady Featherington shows that money is not as important as the well-being and respect of her daughters. The Queen is still determined to figure out who Lady Whistledown is, Edwina, the diamond of the season, is still single, and Benedict is not happy with where he is in life and quits art school. Now, if that short rundown wasn't enough, don't fret, I have a recap coming. So let's go! Episodes 1 and 2. Season 2, Episode 1 starts off with none other than Anthony Bridgerton. Since this season revolves around him, it comes at no surprise that we start off with him as well. He is, after all, the head of the Bridgerton household. Here we see that he's set upon marrying someone out of responsibility and just fulfilling his duty. And he also has a substantial wish list when it comes to this wife. He has to be able to talk to her, she has to look good next to him in terms of fitting in with the family, and she has to be able to carry on the legacy that is the Bridgerton name. Is love on that list though? No. After Daphne was chosen the diamond of her season and got married to the Duke, we see her younger sister Eloise take on a greater role in this marriage market. Well, at least Daphne, her mother, and her siblings hope she does. Eloise, however, is very reluctant. She doesn't like to be paraded like a peacock, or should we say peahen. In the meantime, we're introduced to the Sharma family. This household consists of 3 women, Mary Sharma and her 2 daughters, Kate Sharma and Edwina Sharma. They come all the way from India to make it to London in time for the marriage season. But they're not the only ones to make an entry in this episode. The replacement of the head of the Featherington household also makes his debut, Lord Jack. And just like the Sharma family has their share of secrets, so does Lord Jack. Lady Whistledown, aka Penelope, continues printing letters. And the members of the Ton not only enjoy her letters, but are also trying to figure out who exactly this writer is. And the individual who is most curious to find out the identity of Miss Whistledown is none other than Queen Charlotte. When Anthony and Kate come face to face, there is literal sparks. But these sparks are not from love. They're from irritation, frustration, dislike. When Kate's sister Edwina becomes the chosen diamond of the season, Kate wastes no time letting her know just how bad Anthony is and just how unsuitable he is to be her husband. But why exactly is Edwina chosen the diamond? Is it because the Queen genuinely sees something nice in her? Does she really think that Edwina is above and beyond the other women around her? Or is it because the Queen thinks she can use Edwina to figure out the identity of Miss Whistledown? And speaking of her identity, Eloise thinks she's located the shop in which Miss Whistledown prints her letters. Episodes 3 and 4. If there's anything you know about Anthony and Kate, it's that they are highly stubborn and highly competitive. Once they have a goal in mind, they set off to accomplish it. The issue here is that their goals don't fall in line with each other. Where Anthony is hell-bent on making Edwina his wife, Kate, on the other hand, is equally hell-bent on making sure this never happens. And complicating this whole mess is the fact that they are starting to feel something for each other. And obviously, Kate and Anthony are too obtuse to realize what exactly those feelings are, so it comes out in petty arguments and frustration-filled interactions. Kate thinks Anthony is unreasonable, and Anthony can't figure out for the life of him what the hell is Kate's problem. And then we have the prim, the proper, the amiable Edwina. She does her best to ignite a friendship between Kate and Anthony, if not for anything else, to ensure that if the Viscount does propose to her, Kate can have no issues with it. Because for whatever Kate's faults, Edwina admires her and respects her opinions. We also get flashbacks to why Anthony is the way he is. Why is he so allergic to love? And allergy is the opportune word here, because in the flashbacks, we see what happens to his father. The father that Anthony thinks so highly of, the father that Anthony doesn't believe he can match up to, and the father who leaves them all too soon. He is down by a bee. Seeing the trauma that it's inflicted on the family, seeing the sorrow his mother feels, seeing that she's left alone with a handful of children, leaves Anthony with a lot of mixed emotions. He's angry, he's scared, he's frustrated. He feels a sense of duty and obligation and the burden of taking care of his entire family. As Kate and Anthony get talking, Kate lets him know what her plans are. As soon as Edwina is married, she is sailing back to India to become a governess. Kate has no plans, no desire to get married. After all, she's already in her mid-20s. She's too old for all of this. And what's happening with the Featheringtons? Lord Jack comes into this family as the new head. He's supposedly really rich, business-oriented, and hopefully, according to Portia's wishes, will get this family straight. Essentially, that means that he will provide this family with the money they so need. But not as all that it seems. Lord Jack lets Portia know that he's broke, and he lets her know that her efforts to derail his courting with a wealthy heiress was a bad call, because now he doesn't have money for her nor her daughters. But we know Portia. She's nothing if not strategic. Together, Lord Jack and Portia Featherington devise a scheme, and that scheme is to pawn off fake rubies to the ton for a profit. Because after all, who's going to go to the Americas to check where these rubies are coming from and what Lord Jack is all about? Episodes 5 and 6. The inner turmoil both Anthony and Kate are experiencing comes to a head. There's a definite spark there, and they both definitely know it. But instead of acknowledging it, they shove it further down. Kate for the love of her sister, and Anthony out of a sense of duty. Neither of them acknowledge this attraction to each other. And when Daphne confronts Anthony about the situation in which she catches Kate and Anthony in, where they're crossed with each other but almost come to a kiss, he denies everything. He lets it be known that there's no future with Kate, there's no point looking at her, and there's no point even in this conversation. And while Kate doesn't think that this impending engagement is a good thing, neither Edwina changes her mind nor does Anthony. Anthony ends up proposing to her. And this news spreads like wildfire. After all, it is the ton, and they love to gossip. We also see the Sheffields make an appearance. Now remember, the Sheffields are the Sharma's family. That family that has disowned Mary. That family that never accepted Kate's father. That family that never accepted Kate, nor her sister, their own grandchild. These complicated matters come to a head at a family dinner. The Sheffields are rude and they're prideful, and Anthony sets them in their place. He lets them know that they are not allowed to treat the Sharmas like this, nor can they talk to Kate like this. He lets them know that they're not invited to the wedding and they need to get out. This is when Edwina and Mary find out about the trust that the Sheffields had in her name. And the trust came with the condition that she would have to marry a man of high stature in English society. Obviously, she's frustrated. Obviously, she feels betrayed. Obviously, she feels like a fool. And she lets Kate know this. So does the mother. Kate and Anthony have an argument of sorts. She's begging him not to call off the engagement. She wants Edwina's future intact. Anthony doesn't want to hear any of it. He doesn't think it's a good idea. Not because of what has just happened, because obviously he doesn't need the money. The issue is his inner turmoil. He obviously knows that the connection he has with Edwina is nowhere near the connection he feels for Kate. Because in reality, there really is no connection with Edwina. That is just a goal, a means to an end. While all of this is going on, Queen Charlotte is still on her hunt to find out the true identity of Lady Whistledown. She plants fake rumors, she devises a plan, and this plan is supposed to sort itself out at the wedding. Whose wedding? Anthony and Edwina's, which she is hosting at the palace. Yes, she might hold the Bridgertons in great esteem, but we all know that it's not because of their stature, but her own love for gossip and her desire to know all. Things come to a head at the wedding itself, at the wedding altar. Something happens that causes Anthony and Kate to come together. They're holding hands, they're looking into each other's eyes, and Edwina notices the chemistry. And she realizes, oh shit, there's something going on there. She starts to panic and runs out with Kate tagging along. And this is where all hell breaks loose. There's an argument, there are tears, there's remorse, there's guilt, and there's the problem of what the hell is gonna happen now? Kate and Anthony still can't figure things out. They want to be together. They realize there's something there, but they can't be together. Why? Because Edwina is in the picture. Why? The queen is in the picture. Why? The whole society knows that Edwina is betrothed to Anthony. And in a time and place where society plays such a big role in your life, you can't take things into your hands like that. Kate convinces Anthony to go convince Edwina and get this wedding underway. But Edwina finally stands up for herself. She doesn't want to be a pawn. Yes, she wants marriage. Yes, she wants to be a wife, but she wants it out of love, not out of sense of duty, which she realizes that's all Anthony ever saw her as. Edwina rejects Anthony. She lets Kate know that you cannot control my life and you need to stop with this martyr attitude of yours. She walks off, leaving them two all alone, and we finally get the first kiss between Anthony and Kate. And if you thought that this is where the story ends and now they can live happily ever after, that's not exactly the case. Edwina has a special moment with Queen Charlotte as well. They share a conversation about love, about loss, about marriage, about family, and what it means to find your true match. And as far as Queen Charlotte goes, she ends the episode thinking she knows exactly who Lady Whistledown is. And then we have Violet Bridgerton, we have Daphne Bridgerton, we have Lady Danbury. They're watching what's going on, they're trying to make sense of everything, and they realize that things are not in their control. And what happens with Kate and Anthony has to be determined at a later date. They just need to get out of the palace right now. Episodes 7 and 8. Based on her findings, Queen Charlotte thinks that Eloise is Lady Whistledown, and she wastes no time in confronting Eloise about it. She basically lets Eloise know that if she doesn't admit to this identity, she will be in ruins, and essentially an enemy of the Queen. Eloise obviously isn't Lady Whistledown. All she's been doing is meeting up with Theo Sharp, who is an individual who works at the print shop. They have become friends, he has introduced her to another world of writing, and she just gets along with him. And not just getting along, she also feels for him, and he feels for her. Obviously, this is a star-crossed match because they come from different worlds. When Eloise tells Penelope of the predicament she's in, all Penelope can do is assure Eloise that nothing bad will happen to her. How does Penelope go about this? Well, Penelope does what Lady Whistledown does. She writes gossip, and she gossips on her best friend. She basically outs Eloise as having an affair with Theo Sharp. The scheming that Portia Featherington and Lord Jack have been up to comes to a fail because of Colin Bridgerton. He calls out Lord Jack's bluff. Colin's been dealing with his own issues this whole time. He's been trying to move on from his past and the failed relationship. And while he values a friendship with Penelope, he dances with her at the balls, he doesn't see her as a romantic partner, and he lets his group of friends know. Too bad for Penelope that she overhears this and is heartbroken. And you add that to the fact that Eloise has discovered that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. How does this discovery happen? Eloise finally listens to Penelope. She listens to her penchant for gossip. She listens to her sentence structure. And she puts two and two together because Eloise is not dumb. The friends come head to head. Eloise is heartbroken that her friend would betray her like this. And Penelope argues that I never had a voice. I have one now. And at least I'm using that voice unlike you. And things end in a bad note. Eloise says that she never wants to hear from or see Penelope again. When all hell is breaking loose around the Bridgerton and the Sharma family, they come together. They celebrate what they have. They know that the society is pointing fingers at them, but they have each other. And this is the night where all those complicated emotions Anthony and Kate have come together. They finally give in to each other under the gazebo in the middle of the night. They not only acknowledge their love for each other, they do something about it. They spend quality time with each other. They're sick and tired of the burden they're under. They're sick and tired of always caring for their family. They want to do something for themselves. But that's during the night. In the morning, there's a sense of guilt. Kate is long gone. She's on a horse ride, and Anthony feels a sense of duty. Once again, he wants to propose to her. Kate has a near fatal accident in which Anthony saves her and brings her back home. When Kate finally regains consciousness, Edwina not only forgives her, but encourages her to find love. Kate and Anthony still can't figure each other out. They can't come out and say that they love each other. And Anthony, who's never known how to express love, expresses a sense of duty when it comes to proposing marriage. And Kate, who has a sense of pride, turns him down because she now wants to marry out of love. And unfortunately, she doesn't see that love in Anthony. Which makes you think, just how smart are these people? It's the last ball of the season. After this ball, Kate is going to go back to India. But before she goes, Edwina and Kate celebrate. They dance hand in hand. They are sisters united once again. And when Edwina tells Kate to make the most of her last night, what does Kate do? She goes and has her last dance with Anthony. There's sizzling chemistry. The ton is shocked that they're dancing together, but the queen wants to hear none of it. She praises their appearance. She praises them as a couple. And once the queen gives a green signal, the rest of the ton follows suit. We end the season with a 6-month leap. And in that leap, we see that Anthony has married Kate. They're together and they're happy. And on the other hand, Edwina is single, and as the queen lets her know, she has a single nephew in mind. And Penelope picks up the pen once again. She writes her letters as Miss Whistledown and lets people know she may have been down, but she's certainly not out. So guys, this was my quick recap of the 8 episodes of season 2. Now, obviously, I haven't covered every single detail there is. For that, you're gonna have to watch the season again. And if you're like me, that's no tall task. I've watched that season multiple times. And I can't wait for season 3, as I'm sure you can't either. But until then, down in the comments section, let me know what was your favorite part of this season. And what do you hope season 3 is all about? That being said, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.